Hello again. Thank you for watching my videos on Just the Talk. This time I thought we will talk about plant-based diet. I've come across a lot of people whose physicians have highly recommended plant-based diet. This has been used for obesity, diabetes, hypertension, renal problems, and many more. As everybody knows, the incidence of obesity is growing up, and so is the type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and so-called metabolic syndrome, where we're seeing more and more people being affected with it. And the plant-based diet has been kind of a good alternative to the regular American diet. And that seems to be very effective. So when you talk about the diets, there are a variety of diets that people have. So the plant-based diet is partly combination of these things. There are people who are vegetarian, but then there are lacto-vegetarian, which means they eat dairy products. Then there are ovo-vegetarian, those who eat eggs. And there are lacto-ovo-vegetarian, those who eat egg and dairy product but no meat. So all these above-mentioned dietary categories do not eat meat, fish or chicken or pork, but do eat vegetarian, egg, and dairy products. And then there is a Mediterranean diet, which has been highly recommended, also considered as longevity related, also considered for anti-inflammatory process, and so on and so forth. So in a plant-based diet, basic idea is that you are not using that much of red meat. So chicken, red meat, fish are kind of eliminated or very minimal. And what you're doing is actually using plant-based foods. Again, when I say plant-based food, a lot of vegetarians may think their diet is vegetarian, which means they are plant-based. No. The style that you have to follow is very different than a lot of vegetarians that follow. The plant-based food includes whole grains, and then also includes lots of vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, and the reduction in fat or oils, and certainly no fish, no chicken. The red meat is not there, but fish and chicken are very significantly reduced. This particular type of diet is similar to vegetarian, but not vegetarian, simply because vegetarian cooking style where people use saturated fats and lots of sugar is not allowed. I've often said that any diet where you avoid things that look white, for example, white bread, white rice, white salt, white sugar, white pasta, these are all bad things or probably more inflammatory in nature. So you have to avoid these things, even though none of these things that I mentioned have anything to do with meat. The white pasta, sugars, salt, bread, rice. So preferable would be brown rice or whole rice if you can get it. And same way whole grain breads would be much preferred. So I'm going to talk some of the benefits. I know this video is only 10 minutes, so we'll try to quickly run through it. So essentially, when people have been tried on plant-based diet, the BMI of people who are obese or overweight definitely comes down. So that is a great advantage. The blood pressure goes down, hemoglobin A1C, which is an indicator of blood sugar in the last couple of 3 months, goes down, cholesterol goes down, and a lot of people have been in position to discontinue certain medications for diabetes or blood pressure. So they have done some studies on plant-based diet and their effects on these things. So certainly it was found out that the weight loss was great compared to any other diet. But they also find out that we're having an increased incidence of obesity in this country. Several years ago, about 10 years ago, it was 39%. Now it is climbing, and some estimates were 5% per year increase in the obesity incidence. So we're having that issue. When they did a plant-based diet, the incidence of diabetes was reduced. This was the Advent Health studies where they found out that the incidence of diabetes was 74% reduced compared to the other ones. The blood pressure certainly goes down. The cardiovascular mortality or incidence. Dean Ornish had done some studies many years ago about these type of studies, found out that the dietary changes literally in 1 year reduced or reversed the atherosclerosis in the coronary arteries. So please remember that that particular diet contained 10% calories from fat, about 15 to 20% calories from protein, and 75% calories came from carbohydrate. Again, you have to avoid processed food. You have to include legumes and nuts and lots of fruits and lots of vegetables. So vegetables and fruits are essential part of it. Non-processed food or whole grains are essential part of it. And no meat or very little is probably an essential basic part of it. So you have to have a density in the vegetables of the higher. Now there are certainly certain drawbacks of doing this. Now, since we have a limited time, I'm going to touch quickly the drawbacks. As you can imagine, the essential amino acids and the protein content of red meat is much higher than any of the vegetables. So protein deficiency can occur, and certainly that's an issue that needs to be tackled. If you combine the two different types of vegetarian foods, you certainly can combat essential amino acids, the amino acids that you cannot produce and the body has to get it from outside. So for example, combining rice and beans or whole bread pita and hummus will help you to reduce the deficiency of protein. The iron deficiency is another thing that can develop, again, because some of these standard things don't have enough iron. But there are foods, even vegetarian, which has a significant iron, like kidney beans and the spinach and bunch of other stuffs have, for example, simple oatmeal have a lot of irons. And of course, you can combine and find out the iron. The B12 deficiency was also noted in plant-based diet people. And unfortunately, B12 is produced by bacteria, not produced by animals or vegetables, rather the plants. So you may need to supplement that if you're not getting enough B12 from outside. The calcium was another one, and the vitamin D. Now you gotta find out things that are high in calcium, like mustard greens or tofu or kale or spinach, and certainly you can compensate for that. The avoidance of processed food certainly helps as an anti-inflammatory diet. So various benefits of plant-based diet where you are consuming whole grains, unprocessed food, reduction in oils and fats, especially no saturated fats, and increase in legumes and nuts. And will help you to reduce body weight if you're obese, improve blood pressure, improve diabetic control, improve the coronary artery reversal, disease reversal, or even prevention of it, and also improves the cholesterol and the lipids in the blood. So it is always a good idea to check about the deficiencies of the things that could occur because of the plant-based diet and either supplement, combine, etc. So basic idea is try it. Thank you for watching. If you like, please subscribe.